Welcome.
Attention, please.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the No Comfort Zone podcast. It's time to get out of your comfort zone and live on purpose. Broadcasting to the world from Rockford, Illinois. This is your wake-up call.
Warning.
You are the solutions to all your problems. Stop thinking average. Become the hero version of yourself. Every day, every time, without fail, no exceptions. It all matters. You've entered the No Comfort Zone. It's time for a reality check.
Hey, this is Dan Brzezowski, and welcome back to another episode and edition of the No Comfort Zone, podcasting to you live from Rockford, Illinois. I actually decided to take the day off today. I am not working for my day job today. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually getting myself acclimated towards my goals. I constantly talk about it. I constantly look at them because that's what I'm doing. I'm going for my goals. I'm working hard for them, and I hope you do the same. There's a lot of things that can happen in your life that are going to, set you back a little bit. And the scary part is if you don't have any goals, you're just going to get knocked in a direction that maybe you didn't want to go. Maybe you didn't know how bad it could get. But when you keep letting life dictate to you where you're going, you're going to wind up nowhere. It's a really bad place to be. And personally, I have somebody that's very close to me that's going through a rough patch, and a rough patch meaning a lot of chaos and drama coming their way when it comes to personal relationships, when it comes to financially, when it comes to employment, and when it comes to all these things. And everything that this person is doing is based on the feelings and emotions that everybody else is really wrong at this point. And there's really, quite frankly, the reality of the things around her. She's not playing the role of a victim, but she is playing the role of things will work out. But why I'm bringing this up now is because it's my daughter, and that's who the person that I'm dealing with right now. And this is really easy when I talk about things about, it's to disconnect with people that are negative or toxic or whatever, but it's my daughter. I can't disconnect from her. Some people out there would say you just have to do what you have to do or tough love, but it's not the case here. She's not asking me for any help. She's not asking me for any support. But from an outside point of view, for a guy who's all about goals, dreams, passion, living with purpose, for a guy who's been really down and out for a long period of time, and when I got myself back up, I never wanted to go back down there. And when I realized why I was down there, I just decided to make those changes that would never get me back there again. So I want to do everything I can to help and support this person. And I'm trying to do it not in an intense, over-the-top way, because if you've worked with me before, or if you know who I am a pretty intense person. But, I'm going to say this. I'm actually a really kind person because I do care. And I know that sometimes by getting a little bit uncomfortable with confronting somebody on BS or when confronting somebody on where they really want to go, it's just to help them. Because in the end, when it's all done and over with, are you going to be happy in your goals, or are you going to be disappointed because you never got there? That's the hard part, because where we're at today is you never want to be disappointed because you didn't get where you wanted to go. You want to make sure that when you get to the end, you're like, did I do everything that I could have done in my life? Did I do it the way that I wanted to do it? I might not have gotten the results that I expected, or I did get the results I expected, but I did it on my own terms. I didn't compromise my integrity or my character. I really worked and I leaned into those areas that were difficult, and I did become a better version of myself. And that's what this whole podcast is about, is that it's really about challenging you to become a better version of yourself. Could you be a better husband? Yeah, and so could I. Could you be a better spouse? Sure. Could you be a better son? Could you be a better brother? Of course. I'm not perfect, never said I am. I figured out a lot of things. I've studied a lot of things. I'm sitting in my home office, which, as you know, when I podcast, I'm podcasting you from my car going to and from work. I'm in my office and I'm looking around. I've got 3 of the 4 walls. One's a door and the other one's a window. But 3 of the 4 walls, they're covered with books. And these are all books that I've read over a long period of time. And I'll just say this, one of my ex-spouses actually dumped the majority of my books, which I was pretty disappointed about. But anyway, that happens, right? Bad relationship, bad things happen. So I'm looking at all these books that I've read, and I'm like, man, I've accumulated so much information over the years, but I applied very little of it. And it's at that point for me today where I'm really trying to help a lot of different people get outside of their comfort zone so they can live on purpose. But more importantly, what I'm trying to do is I'm actually trying to help my daughter live to her potential, because she's amazing. When I talk about my daughter, who's 21 years old, she just turned 21. She's living out of state, and she's now going through a divorce. She was married at a young age, and I was too, and I was living out of state. And I remember when this happened to me, when I was going through my first divorce, and I was living in Virginia, just out of the Marines, my dad had told me, well, now's the time for you to come back to Illinois, and you and I can have a relationship. But by that time, I was already in another relationship. So I never got the chance to go connect with my dad and live back in Illinois because, quite frankly, he was intense. He was intimidating. He reminded me of the football coach, Mike Ditka, from the Chicago Bears, who's a hero of mine. He reminded me a lot of him, very over the top, very overbearing. And I can kind of tell that my daughter believes that I'm that way today. But one of the major regrets I have in my life is that as I was becoming a young man, I never took the time to connect with my dad on a more mature level. Basically, I was always that teenage kid that was always getting into trouble, not making good choices, making really bad decisions, living emotionally. And it wasn't him. He was a very logical, hardworking guy. And here I look back over my life and I'm like, that's one of my regrets. They say, oh, no regrets or whatever. Man, I went through a lot of adversity. Like I said, most of it I put myself through. I didn't have to do that with my dad. I could have kind of come around his way, but I wanted to make a name for myself in the worst way. But I didn't do it through hard work and through dedication, discipline, and commitment. I did it from being a talker, not a lot of substance to what I said, but really just putting a lot of energy into a space without a lot of work ethic and the grind and all the other stuff that you need to be successful. And I truly you do need to grind it out in order to be successful. There has to be a day-to-day rate of exchange for you to be successful. And my dad saw right through that. So I had these big grandiose dreams of what I was going to do in my life, but I wasn't doing the work ethic behind it. And he called BS on me constantly. So instead of actually having the relationship with him, I ran. Just like I ran away from my first ex-wife, my second ex-wife, when things got tough, ran away from my family. And now I'm at an age where I'm just like, man, I spent all that time running away. Guess what? I'm still here. So it's time for me to take all that information that I've had from all these different books that I've read and really start applying it. And when I got the notice from the doctor a couple years ago, and they said, "Hey, man, you're at that middle-aged point in your life where you need to kind of change things around a little bit. You got to start dieting, got to start exercising. Can't eat like a 17-year-old anymore. You got to reduce some of your stress." And I realized I'm living everybody else's life but my own. I gave up. And now the No Comfort Zone Blueprint, this thing that it's become in this podcast and the things that I'm doing, it really is, I'm translating it. I'm giving it to you saying, hey, man, wake up. It's time for you to wake up and get outside of your comfort zone. Start living on purpose because it could be too late. Tomorrow, man, is a promise to nobody. And I look at my family now and I'm so grateful for where I'm at. I actually told this to my wife. If I was ever to go broke again, there's only one person I'd want to go broke with, and that was her, because the money and all the other stuff doesn't matter. That's just not it anymore. It's about the purpose and what we do on a day-to-day basis. One of the best things that I do with my wife is we get up in the morning, we have coffee together. I really enjoy that time. It's definitely a time for us to connect, to get to listen to her and see what she's passionate about. She can hear about all my nonsense that I'm talking about, and we just connect for a few minutes, a few moments in the morning, and it sets my day right. That's done by intention. That's part of my blueprint. When I went through the challenge, it's like, where can I make up the time to have a more passionate relationship? So I did that. And now when I take it all the way back, when I go full circle to where I'm at now, talking about my daughter and her situation, it really comes down to this. I wish nothing but the best for her, but there's a long road she's going to have to go through in order to find out who she is. With that strong character, we argue a lot, with that strong character that she has, if she could apply that towards herself and not worry about feelings and emotions and opinions of other people and not be so angry at the world, the world will be anything for her, because I believe deep down inside, when you get past all the layers of anger and frustration and all the things that she's gone through in her life, I believe there's a really good person there. And I believe that about everybody. I believe at the end of the day, we're all really good people. We just went through a little BS here and there, and we got a little caught up, and we forgot how to cope. We forgot how to connect. And the truth be told is we forgot how great we are, and we forgot about our potential. And when you think about that, if I know I couldn't fail, what would I do? Well, if I know I couldn't fail, what would I do? I'd write a movie script. That's one of the things I want to do. I really want to write a movie script. I love movies and love more than anything about movies, but my day job takes a lot of time. That's an excuse. My hobby, this other hobby I'm working on, trying to help you get out of your comfort zone to live on purpose podcast, the workbook, the coaching, the seminars, and all these things that I'm in the process of working and building on, that's a real passion for me. If I take a step back, what would I love to do? I would love to write a movie script and see it all the way through, see it go to the big screen. How cool would that be? That would be something I would love to do because I love movies more than anything. I just love that so much. So you ask yourself, what are you passionate about? What are you working for? What's your purpose? Are you living by feelings and emotions? It's just so much going on right now that I hope that you can, if you want to connect, go to Dan at the No Comfort Zone, hit me up with an email. If you're interested in looking at how to set some goals and how to start living a little bit more structured life, go to thenocomfortzone.com, download the blueprint, and check it out. It's a little confusing at first. It's super, super easy, or it's super simple, but it's not easy. I keep saying that. Super simple, but not easy. And just a real quick preface on that. No matter where you're at in your life, you work at Starbucks, you're in sales, you're a manager, you own a multi-billion-dollar corporation, you're a mom taking care of a family, you're a single dad raising kids, whatever it is for you, the blueprint works. And the first part of it is the mindset. Become aware you're at. Where exactly are you at? No BS. Where are you at right now? Identify exactly what it is in your life that you want. Decide what you're willing to do and then take massive action. AIDA, that's the first part of it. Maybe that's just enough to help you today to get out of your comfort zone and start living on purpose.
Say goodbye.
Want more of the No Comfort Zone? You can follow Dan on Instagram and Twitter at No Comfort Zone 1.
Bye.
Or on the web at thenocomfortzone.com.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the No Comfort Zone podcast.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.